What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So today is going to be another tool modification video. I recently picked up this WJM 10-inch bench-mounted drill press, and for what I intend to use it for, it should be sufficient. And the few times that I have used it so far, it's worked out really well. But there's one part that kind of needs some attention, and that would be the table. I mean, this thing isn't even 8 inches.
Can you hammer a 6-inch spike through a board with your penis?
Not right now.
So today I'm going to be building a new table. So my plan is to take some of this 3/8 plate and make almost like a welding fixture table out of it. I'm going to drill a bunch of 5/8 holes, and that way I can use these modified F-clamps to clamp my piece down that I'm going to be drilling. Obviously, this table is going to be for metalworking only. It's going to get cutting oil on it and everything, and I wouldn't want to use it for woodworking. But for drilling holes in steel, aluminum, whatever, that's what this table is going to be for. So let's get to work. So the first thing I got to do is clean this thing up, trim it to size. I mean, you can see that the edges are pretty rough. I've cut chunks out of this with a plasma cutter. So yeah, that needs to be cleaned up. It does have one factory edge along this side, so I'm going to base all my measurements off of that. Now I'm going to cut this down using my Eastwood mini metal saw. If you haven't used one of those, or if you don't have one, highly recommend it. That thing is a badass little saw. You'll see here in just a second. So I'm just going to cut some of the edges off to get a nice square surface. Now that I got my plate cut to size, I laid out a grid pattern on the surface for all of the 5/8 holes. I'm coming in about 1 inch from each edge and then coming in off those marks. That way I still have room around the edges for clamping here and still have plenty of clamping points in the field of the plate. I'm also going to drill the center hole out larger, probably about 1 inch, 1.1 inches. To do all this drilling, I'm using my mag drill. It's a Hogan or a Hugin, however you pronounce this. It's this brand right here, along with these Rotolock cutters. This thing is amazing. It makes nice, quick, clean holes. So first thing I'm going to do is cut the center hole, and then I'll cut all of the 5/8 holes. Now that I've got all the holes cut into the plate, I think it was like a total of 25, I think, something like that. I've got another new tool here that I want to try out. And this is it right here. So what this does is it's got a cutting head right here in the center, and this can put a bevel or a chamfer on all the edges. You can put this in the center of a hole, set the depth to whatever, however much of a bevel or chamfer you want to put, and then just run it around the inside of the hole. along the edge of the plate, whatever. So I'm going to plug this into the compressor and give it a shot. Man, that thing is badass. I'll leave a description to that tool down below. That thing really cleaned those holes up nice. And now those F-type clamps, there's no sharp edge around any of those holes. They're gonna fit like butter. That thing is sweet. All right, on to the next step. So I started working on the mount to turn that plate into a table. So my plan was to use this 2x3 3/16 wall rectangular tubing. I'm gonna cut the top of this off so that the plate sits in here and gets welded together, and so it sits flush with the top. Well, you'll see when I get to that point. But I quickly found something out. I think I figured out why the original table is so small. So here you can see I cut the tube down to the correct length for the table. Got the holes drilled, and I got this hole big enough to get a socket in there, and then got the bolt screwed in. But the problem I ran into yeah, I can't raise or lower the table. So I'm going to have to figure that one out. The second issue that I ran into, when I laid this plate out, laid out all the holes, I didn't take into account the actual distance from, say, the back of the plate to the center hole. The way it sits right now is the chuck and the drill bit actually lines up with this hole here. Yeah. So I'm going to end up trimming the back of this off probably 1.5 inches so that this hole will line up. I'll get all those measurements done once I get that all figured out. That way I can have an accurate measurement to trim that to fit that better. But let's get to cutting the top off the rectangular tube, and then I'll work on figuring out just how I want a clearance for the handle. All right, so there you can see I got the top cut off, and I got this side is actually 3/8 of an inch lower than here to accommodate the thickness of the plate. Then I also clearanced here for the handle. And then I'll still have to clearance the top plate, obviously, for the handle here, but I'll do that once I get it tacked into place. I'm not sure if I'm gonna close this in yet. I might. I haven't decided. I've been looking at it, just haven't decided yet. So again, there's the handle clearance. So now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to tack the top plate to the back piece. Once I got the plate welded to the mount, I got that fully welded out, I wanted to add in just some angle iron supports. I'm not really sure just how much that 3/8 plate really needed it, but I figured it can't hurt. Once that was done, I clearanced that corner for the handle, and then I finished the top out with a surface conditioning disc, and then I went over it with the DA sander, and here's how the finished thing turned out. Well, there it is, guys. My new and hopefully improved cheap drill press table upgrade, modification, whatever. Appreciate you guys for watching. Hit that subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you on the next one.